opens up against how the decks line up against each other, and if he gets bad matchup with it, maybe goes against Georgec's FreezeMage, he might be in trouble, and that Rogue might kind of like drag him down.
That is interesting. FreezeMage is pegged not necessarily the strongest deck to bring. It is a strong deck, but if the metagame provides an avenue for a bunch of decks to line up well into it, such as Warrior, Shaman, Hunter, Druid, could be pretty bad. But this is a good start immediately for George. He gets the FreezeMage against the Rogue, and that's probably the best matchup. It
certainly is. Like, if Georgec got to pick what first game he wants to get, this would have been it. Like, this is exactly what he wants to with the Mage. That is the best possible outcome. And Ikealyou here, he does have a chance. Like, I wouldn't count him out just yet, but it's certainly going to be a difficult task.
Yeah, it's really difficult for Ikealyou, primarily because well, these mistakes were made. He understands that, one, I didn't want this matchup. Two, I don't even necessarily have the coin, so I can't, set up this pressure. Rogue benefits off the coin a lot from being able to set up big Van Cleaves to having additional card to combo and draw more.
Yep, and Georgec looking at an excellent hand. So much card draw in there. Has an Acolyte of Pain and in second Novice. Wow, and there's also a Loot Hoarder. So far, it's looking kind of hard for Ikealyou. He doesn't even have a 3-drop here. Something like just an SI agent would have been fine, kind of to keep up the tempo.
Yeah, he does have the Tomb Pillager, which is pretty important. Azure Drakes do provide a lot of pressure to refill your hand and put the damage on. But, it's like you said, George does also have a good hand, too. You have to depend on the FreezeMage to not be able to draw and keep up with the card count. A lot of times, the way FreezeMage can lose this matchup, despite it being heavily, heavily favored, is having those awkward hands.
Yeah, Ikealyou here got the preparation from the top, but chooses not to go for any kind of preparation play just yet. Wants to save that for a little bit later on. Georgec here looking at 4 mana. He could just go with the couple of card draws if he wants to do so.
Yeah, do not blame him if he doesn't want to get full value off the Acolyte of Pain. It's one of those interesting things with FreezeMage where sometimes you just have too much card draw and it's almost an embarrassment of riches in a way. You have to make sure to manage your mana correctly so you're not like overdrawing, and yet at the same time what's your timing on the coin, for example. These are all really relevant things to think about.
Oh wow, I really like this coin Doomsayer from George. He knows that Ikealyou is about to be at 5 mana, probably playing a Drake. But Ikealyou does have that preparation Shadow Strike to use with his dagger to remove the Doomsayer and keep his Drake around.
Yeah, it is a little bit annoying for George to deal with, but he does see that Ikealyou did have to use a preparation there, and it's not using preparation on things like the Gadgetzan Engineer or a Big Van Cleave.
Yep, Ikealyou also picking up that second preparation, so it makes it a little bit easier to just burn one here. Georgec getting the Ice Block out early. We saw him yesterday being a little bit of like potential trouble after there was a game where he did not throw the Ice Block at all. He was able to win it in the end, but this time around he's gonna have the Ice Block from very early on.
So the problem with the Rogue, despite the fact that, honestly, Ikealyou's been keeping up pretty decently because he had the Tomb Pillager and the double Azure Drakes.
Yep.
But the problem is you can't really kill the FreezeMage because of the way Ice Block, and your damage from the hand is really limited to just Leroy. I mean, you do have some burn like Eviscerates, but you often have to use it.
So much damage right now. I would expect to see the Cold Blood come out too. You can't really expect to get much more than the 4 right here. He is going to go for the Conceal too, but Georgec has that Blizzard ready and waiting.
It's still very fearsome though. You're at what, 13, or I guess maybe even less, depending on how you interpret this Conceal play.
That is so much damage. With the Leroy, if Ikealyou is able to pick up an Eviscerate from the top, he would already be able to pop the Ice Block.
I hope you like my invention.
Yeah, and that's pretty huge. That's what you really need. Oh, Frost.
That's an excellent draw for Georgec, because now he can get the barrier up if he wants to. I wouldn't blame him for just playing like Blizzard and the Doomsayer here, but Ice Barrier into the Nova would kind of work out better just looking at the hands, because there is that potential of an Eviscerate from the top.
Yeah, and getting the Ice Block popped is such a big deal. It just means that you have to play your second Ice Block, and then your opponent will always be on a draw to potentially end it.
Fan of Knives. So
yeah, still, if you draw Eviscerate, you can still prep into it.
Yeah, that is true. So he can just cast the Fan of Knives without the preparation here, because he does have that prep for the next spell, whatever it would be. You could also consider the Leroy maybe here, but I think it might be better to wait with it for a little bit later on. It is an easy way to clear the whelps by using the fan here. Zap on the Doomsayer seems kind of likely.
Right, you don't want to let your board go that easily, force them to have another freeze. But still, we're looking for Eviscerate as the best case scenario.
Yep. Another Conceal, that does not help at this point.
Yeah, so just do a little bit of damage, try to see if one more time you can keep your board safe. Conceal number 2 comes out here, and I like it. This is just what you have to do. You have to be as aggressive as possible. Ikealyou even staring at George saying, do you have another freeze? Is there a way for you to deal with this? And the answer is very much so. He's got multiple answers.
Yeah, not just one freeze, but he actually has 2. And now with the discount from Emperor Thorison, he's not only able to play the Blizzard, but also that barrier, and it is so important. Oh, if he didn't have the barrier, that would have been enough to pop the ice block.
Oh, yeah. And you can just show how important that is. Because now he can't really threaten over a couple turns. He's almost out of gas at this point. This card needed to be like the Gadgetzan Auctioneer.
Yeah, that Blizzard was really rough. It cleared the entire board. Conceal not doing anything in that case.
And I'm looking at how important it is just to get this FreezeMage win, and you just look at the fact that George had to leave Shaman up because he had to ban the Warrior, and Hunter is always a problematic class. Druids that run Moonglade Portal and double Fair Rage is also more annoying. Definitely not unwinnable, but hard. It's such a crucial win for George right off the bat.
Yeah, but he hasn't won just yet. If he keeps drawing maybe some non-card draw spells, he's a little bit of lacking hand. It might just be a weak turn. Oh, Acolyte of Pain. Well, that is a great pickup.
Yeah, there's so much card draw too. He's yet to pick up, Arcane Intellect, for example, and other things to really help get his engine going.
This is the second Acolyte, so he did have some card draw earlier, but like you mentioned, no Arcane Intellects.
Oh, the life of a rogue when you just use up everything you've got and you just have awkward cards on awkward cards.
It's just so difficult. Like, there's nothing that would really look good from Ikealyou's perspective here.
Right. So he's used already 1 Cold Blood. I think he's trying to calculate how much damage if he drew the ideal sequential cards. With Leroy Cold Blood in attack, that is 11 damage, and if you drew an Eviscerate, that'd be 15. So he's still even just a couple points off of popping Ice Block, even if he was able to draw it.
Yeah, for Ikealyou, Gadgetzan Auctioneer is the card that he really wants to get, to be able to draw some more cards and try to get something going. Maybe Edwin Van Cleef after that. George C picking up some burn here. He now has 2 fireballs, so he could just try to burn Ikealyou out even without the Alex Razov.
Yeah, just set your opponent down to 15. So I think if you pick up the Frostbolt, that is just death because you have the Evolved Kobold already. Yeah,
the Kobold going to do so much work here, adding 6 damage to that potential combo.
Now this is some more damage. I mean, Deadly Poison can count as 6 damage if you attach it to a weapon. So over the course of 2 turns, Ikealyou could pop the Ice Block, I think.
Yeah, it's just that's not what he needed. He really needed the Auctioneer and then maybe pick up the Deadly Poison afterwards from the extra draws from the coin and the preparation. But once again, just like last turn, there's not really a good play available to Ikealyou, even though he does have 6 cards.
Well, actually, I apologize. He wouldn't even be able to pop the Ice Block because Leroy Cold Blood is 10, and he'd do 6 over 2 turns with the weapon. So he'd still be 1 off even in 2 turns.
And he would give his opponent some whelp, so that would even increase the damage that George C is able to put out.
Yeah, it's very clear that FreezeMage is on a mission to kill the rogue very soon, just directly using 2 fireballs and with a lot more firepower where that came from.
So right now, George C with the Evolved Kobold and the Roaring Torch. And Hero Power would be 9 damage from the hand. There's so many draws that would just win the game outright here, but he doesn't get it just yet.
Yeah, and he still feels pretty safe. I mean, if he gets his opponent down to even just 9, he could kill him because of the way that Evolved Kobold works. So playing Loot Hoarder is most likely the scenario here. Oh,
all right. Well,
Frostbolt Ice Lance.
He has the burn he needs right now.
Yeah, so that's going to be the game. And George C takes a very convincing game to 1, but make no mistake, this matchup is heavily FreezeMage favored. It was going to be an uphill climb from the start for Ikealyou.
Yeah, this would have been a disaster for George C if he did not win this one. It would only have gotten harder with that FreezeMage, but that's a really key victory for George C.
FreezeMage wins again. A deck that's constantly underestimated, in my opinion, at least in HCT. And Georgec once again piling it to proficiency. Right after this, guys, we're going to come back with game number 2, so don't go anywhere. Back in just a sec.